Pledge
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call meeting order. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for October 18th, 2022.
And I'll second them.
Any discussion? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Yeah, that's special. There it is. It's right here. Here's this one. Here. Number 4.
Right.
It got laid on my desk and I didn't realize it was a payment. I thought it was just more.
Well, but this ain't number 4. This is for our concrete annex,
Yes.
old jail.
Columbus Construction.
Number 4.
They're doing the concrete.
Yeah, but this is for the annex building and the sidewalks and not Columbus Construction. It's for here.
No, right there at the top.
That's the
Oh, that's
projects.
the company. All right, sorry. I was
And that's
thinking,
the projects that they've done.
okay, I was thinking pass through for the bicycle path already.
No.
Sorry, brain fart. Okay,
We know it's raining, it's early.
It's the second
Yeah,
Monday
there you
this
go.
week.
What is it?
hasn't had a day off.
They break theirs down by project.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So those are the projects.
That's the
that this
name of the
one's covering.
company, not the construction area.
Okay. We'll go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve to pay Columbus Construction 52,000 something for
Yeah,
what it's been-
52,837. And here, you guys need to.
and that's just totally labor.
Initial on top of that, would you please?
Yes. That's labor.
Yes.
Need a second?
I'm waiting.
Oh, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion.
I was watching Chris sign this, thinking about this. I can't.
Okay, meeting schedule, Randy.
I remember the E911 meeting, service board meeting. I'm gonna let Brian, he's gonna update you on that. He'll come in and do that. And then the next night, I was supposed to be at the EMA meeting, and I went in the house 7:15. My wife said, "Aren't you late for your meeting?" I said, "Yeah, it was at 5 o'clock." And I missed it. I missed the meeting. Oh, God, I missed. What'd I do? I'll sign this one.
Yes, sir. And then another 2.
He's just coasting to retirement.
That's all I'm doing, I'm coasting. I had community action also. And okay, the action items, we seated the community representative board member, Tony Flores. Reappointed all the board members, election of board officers. They were all the same. I will be replaced in 2 months with someone else because I'm the treasurer. We looked at the board meeting schedule for 2023. It's the same. Oh, we had an executive session where we agreed for purchase $10,000 for a land purchase, block 64 in Keokuk from the school system. Our building's already on it and it was leased before, and we ended up buying it. So that was the main action items in community action. Like I said, the E911 and the EMA meeting, he's on the agenda to bring us up to date on that. That was it.
Okay, thank you. Chris? I had nothing. Okay.
We had a phone conference yesterday with the conservation, but there wasn't enough. Elizabeth couldn't make it on there. So we're gonna do another one on Friday, I think. Thursday or Friday. And that was on,
The approval for the concrete out at where the buildings are getting moved onto, right?
right.
You have to get somebody to pour some concrete there to move those buildings onto.
Yeah, so we have.
Okay, you just didn't have enough people for a quorum. What? Yeah, I thought we only did 2 of them, now we've done 4.
And we did, worked on windows all weekend. I was down here, and then got the concrete circle drive done. I was gonna start jackhammering the front, but we're gonna wait till this rain passes for we can fill that up for rain out front, and then that'll be the last part of it.
And remember, the trunk or treat is a Sunday.
We should be good. All that, you just can't drive on any of it, but you can walk on all the concrete so far. So just weather. I didn't want to take a chance of filling that up full of water out in front. We're supposed to get quite a bit. We haven't got a lot, but we're supposed to get a lot. Looks like most of it's going east of us. So.
Yep.
So anyway, get that done. Hopefully it'll be done this week. Chris knows we got the boilers up and running yesterday. They had quite a little bit of problems, Tracy was saying. Getting the air out, but it's up and running anywhere from 88 to 94% efficient versus I think it's 52 or 54 when they did the efficiency of it before. So with 46 is the low when they're both running, or one was running hard. So that project should be done. Let's see what else we got. Metal, I think finally came in that matches what we got. So we'll start doing the outside, get that project finished up. Shades, I'll meet with her today. I think I'm gonna try to get her to do Sandy's measurements, get that done, then we'll have it for next week's agenda for getting that up. Everything, I think we're pretty good shape. All the, what you guys approve, or I sent over, all the plaster inside's been fixed. That'll be on the next claims. We just need some painting done this winter, just to kind of match up, because there's so many different colors every office. Color, but be nice to get these all done and behind us. So spring we'll look at some more.
Okay, that's it. Tackle windows out yonder.
Yeah.
I'm reviewing the payroll changes, and I see that Deborah Moore's coming back to work.
Part-time. Part-time.
Well, that's what I said, it says seasonal, just part-time until they get somebody hired, or what do they want?
They have a project going on for commercial evaluations.
So they need the help right now?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, which is fine, I'm not, I have no problem with it whatsoever, I just did
Should be
notice
back
that,
in.
I'm like, ooh, okay. I think that we know who that is.
Yeah. Any input, the workforce so bad, we're bringing them out of retirement.
Yeah.
Okay, the person that, the recorder, is she full-time or part-time?
You mean treasure?
The treasurer's hired, yeah. Yeah,
You sure you don't want some coffee?
Yeah. Well, we're getting,
She's full-time.
so we're getting people back in place.
That replaced who?
Well, I
One
think
of the-
Mickey,
Yeah, I think two.
I'm not sure.
So it replaced who?
Mickey?
Mickey, I
or
think.
I think.
But it could be.
Okay, okay,
I don't know how she did it in the order she did it in, to
Okay.
replace the person.
okay, got it.
Jim, do you need that? It's 52,837. Okay.
Half hour to Brian gets here.
And Adam should be in. I can send him a note, let him know he can come in anytime.
Here's that.
Randy, you not walking when it's cold?
I did this morning.
You didn't this morning, I looked for you, I mean, I
No,
usually see you, I was up pretty early this morning.
it wasn't because it was cold, it was just I didn't get around this morning.
Okay. Well, I didn't know when it gets really cold.
I have trouble with lunch.
Okay, gotcha.
And when it gets windy and cold, then it's like.
Okay.
I've been walking the gravel roads. I went through the dirt road the other day. That was a nice walk through there.
Oh, you,
There's, no ruts and dry.
Mhm.
Heck, it's money. I don't know there.
well, they're having issues with. So there might be, on that, they're having issues, it's not quite right. But the inspection of the electrical is all done before they can do it. That's what we're waiting on right now before we install. So if I had more. Close up. And I don't understand the inspection of electrical. It's through the wall, but I think. Well, kind of. Yeah, the state inspector, for electrical, he also looks over something. Kind of. See, it must be people where it's all. Yeah, but it must be. It's been a little one time. Oh, yeah. What was you seen me over junction? I seen you in my way, but that's cool. Yeah, I figured you was on something. We decided to finish the house last night. Got the fridge to come. No problem. Wow. Especially out of so. Yeah. I had a little farm. Two irrigation. Big farm, 8 pounds.
What interchange is that, Chris?
Newports.
Hmm. Something new, or did you just?
It's something that's been on my desk for
And every time
2-3 weeks.
I used valves and stuff like that, but we didn't have battery operated drill and electric drills, no electricity for out there. So we used bracing. I got a bracing that my grandpa had, probably like that.
The old railroad stuff there behind RV's brother.
It's a quarter drill.
It takes more of it than it's closer to 61 than what I've been
Yeah, I took a class.
visualizing.
And this is,
That's where Ernie Peck lives.
Stevie Brothers.
Back in there.
Yeah, something goes.
Because see, Ernie,
I got
one
one
time
house.
I looked to find his house, because he's only gonna be like 400 or 500 feet from the main.
Yeah.
But now he won't buy his house. Mhm.
That's prime.
Oh, well, that's, yeah, 90 CSR. Well, what kind of blows my mind, south of Minneapolis, the road does this. North of the, it's gonna go straight through. And
Why would, you know, I can understand this pond and these draws. But you know,
I'm a fashion model. Yeah, you guys want a shirt that's for the brain health as far as from the SEAL region.
Have different sizes. so-
Different sizes and different sayings.
Bobby
Yeah.
said it's just to get the word out in the community more about mental health and brain health. And
yeah.
so she brought different sizes and it's for people to wear just to publicize, basically.
Mhm. I got one for my wife
Yeah.
at the last, not the last meeting, but the meeting before.
Oh, one of these?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you want one for yourself or do you wear t-shirts?
I wanted to,
Okay, yeah. Chris?
but
Yeah,
ready, everybody, anybody.
Yeah,
They're
anybody here.
free, they're free.
Yes, yep, they're just to give away and I've got not too many people to give them to. I mean, we don't give them to clients necessarily. It's more for people to get the word out to
Yes,
clients,
yes.
so. The same t-shirt? Yeah, any of y'all?
After the meeting.
Yep. Which thing?
I'll take one. Which one you want? The gray one. What size you wear? I'm a large.
Which saying do you want?
Go big red. I don't know if even make one of those.
Yeah, I like that one. You can do hard things. You can do hard things. That looks nice. Sizes.
Can do
That's
hard things.
3.
Those are all 3Xs. I just put all this. There's large,
Thank you.
yeah, you guys?
2X.
I do have 2X. What would you like it to say on it?
Actually, it's okay not to be okay with the okay.
Okay, not to be okay, right there it is.
That's right.
Yeah, make,
Go on.
got another, if you have another,
I only have one of each saying,
Oh,
so I have 3X
So
in
you
that
got
one.
one like you,
Yep, you can do hard things in a 2X.
And you're with who?
It's the SEAL region, it's mental health.
Okay.
So it's, Louisa County Community Services. It's very kind of confusing to explain it, but it's the mental health region for our.
Southeast Iowa
So,
Way, the meetings that I go to and.
2X, she said.
And,
There you go.
thanks.
Yeah.
it's just some way to advertise, get the word out that we do have this. You know, Louisa County is a participant in Southeast Iowa Way,
You gotta-
which is the mental
two
health
action, you
service
better.
for this county.
Okay.
And we got ball hats and fly
There you
swatters
Yeah.
and these. They decided that they need to get the word out. And there's a lot of people, you say, well, talk about this,
Yeah.
they don't want you talking about, you know, when it's the mental health part of Louisa County. Just a way to advertise, somebody will maybe ask the question, what's that mean?
This time of year, every year, they do something promotional. They have been on the Washington radio station with an ad about their services.
And Adam said it'd be closer to 9. I think they're covering the office for Joe, so.
so is this part of the Bobby the last week that she said that is buying stuff like this? Promotion stuff, yeah.
Promotional stuff, yes.
Yeah, when she gave her report.
Yeah, when Bobby did.
Well, everybody likes to growl about mental health, but it covers so many different aspects. There's so much to mental health that once you get sit on a thing like that,
Once you get involved in it, and go to the meetings and this and that, you realize just how much and how important mental health is to the people in this community, the people all over. You know, anybody in the state of Iowa, or anywhere, mental health is a big problem. And it's something that we need to take care of and think about. And, you know, Iowa, at one time years ago, each county had their own mental health. And then the state changed that, so we went into regions. That started, what, 7, 8, 9 years ago? And we created this region, which is Southeast Iowa Link, and that's the SEIL. Okay, which is 7 counties down in this corner: Lee County, Des Moines County, Washington County, Louisa County, Henry County, Keokuk County. Southeast Iowa Link. And we talked about when they started creating these groups, you know, I went to a couple meetings north and talked about maybe being involved with Cedar County, Scott County, Iowa City, so on and so forth. And there was different advantages and disadvantages. One of the biggest disadvantages was when you got into those larger cities, which had more money for stuff, they were offering more services for mental health already, more than what little Louisa County could. And the state's idea was to make it even, so that you got just as good a services if you went someplace in Iowa City as you did in Louisa County. That's why they went regional, so you could take the resources from all the regions to keep things. And they set a core set of, there's a core set of things that we require you to have and so on and so forth. And it's worked real well. And we were still funding it through taxpayer money. Now, just in the last year or so, it switched over, the state took over the funding of it.
I remember her talking about
The
that.
state took over, so now we still have our governing board, which is all the supervisors from the different counties that are still on that governing board that oversees it. But the money comes from the state rather than Louisa County taxpayers. And this is just a way to get the word out that we have those services available in Louisa County.
So with Louisa County not having a hospital,
That's a big difference because it's, you know, we have no hospital to have some of these services provided by it.
Yeah.
We have to go to Washington, we have to go to Burlington,
West Burlington.
to go to even Fairfield, which is.
So they stay in
Jefferson
the
County.
region,
They're all the region, that's regional.
but like a resident of Louisa County, do they still have to get services in that region? Or can they go to Johnson County?
They can go Johnson.
Whoever we've contracted with, or said Link has contracted with, is where they'll go for services. Some like with a 23-hour intervention, they may be in Cedar Rapids, Iowa City.
Okay, yeah. They don't have to go to the,
No,
stay within that region.
no.
Okay.
So you go to Muscatine then too, if you had to.
How's it going there?
Interesting, thank you.
It's an interesting organization to be involved in and go to the meetings and you don't realize how much is going on. There's a lot going on. Trying to provide mental health for the citizens of Iowa, Louisa County, everywhere. Far more going on than you think.
8-10 years ago, it was 4-hour meetings. When was trying to get the
Like I
transition.
said, the switching over to regions was a good thing because these little individual counties could not provide this quality of service as the bigger towns could. And the state said, this isn't right that you don't get as good a service in Louisa County than you could if you lived in Johnson County. That's why they regionalized it. And it's still a process, you know, it's just like for a long while, yeah, we still funded it through local tax dollars. Then, you know, it just gets so expensive and so involved, they went to the state, took over. But we didn't want the state, we don't want the state to control exactly what's done in this county. I still think it's important that you have a governing board made up of all the different supervisors from the different counties that are served.
Good morning, Adam.
Adam, what do you
Hi,
got?
Adam, what's going on?
Oh. I don't know, what's going on, got our concrete main driveway poured, last Wednesday. They're supposed to pour again Wednesday or Thursday, I think the rain will probably push back Thursday afternoon or Friday, so. Are on pace to have all the concrete done by November 4th, which is the date that we had in the contract, so.
Shouldn't be a problem.
From that, weather's, other than the rain, it's definitely warmer than it was, so.
Yeah.
So that's going on there. I'll start in the office. We're getting our project closeout stuff done for all of our various projects, the trail, the bridges, and the asphalt jobs. So we're working on going through all those are all FM farmer market or federal aid or whatever jobs. So there's a lot of bookkeeping and reports and stuff like that to be done. So working on getting those done. Got bids coming up for other projects in November. So kind of work on answering questions for those things and that. Beginning to work on some budget issues and things like that, and designs on next round of projects and stuff like that in-house. Out of the crews, they've been got down with concrete patching there week before last, and doing some shoulder repair work and stuff like that. Now we came and put shoulder rock down there on the K road. That's always an issue. I wish that when we had done that, we had paved those shoulders because trucks cut that all the time. But anyway, getting that done. Days like today when it rains, they're checking their sanders on the trucks, making sure those are all up and running. As of now, we're planning on using backup plow truck out of Grandview. It used to be Jeremy's down Slogans. It used to be a plow truck, and it got bounced up there because Casey's truck is the filter on it has been on back order from Mac for months. I mean, it's been on order since May. So hopefully we'll get that, but we do have a backup, so we're kind of.
Did you get 2 of them?
What?
Did you get 2 filters?
I did.
Yeah, but get order 2, that way you have a
Yeah.
backup for next time.
Yeah. So doing that, we got our sand and salt in last week, got that all mixed up in a pile, of course, and we're looking at in the future, hopefully getting all that pushed in under a cover at some point. Getting more raw salt in and get it packed away. So we're getting ready for the winter. Let's hope it's a mild one, but other than that, I don't, nothing spectacular out there. So any questions or comments for me or issues? Our new guy will start November 10th or 11th, I believe is his day. So, anyway, getting by a short hand as always. So, questions for me or?
Well, just to, how when we get people that complain about these roads that, or these bridges that are shut down and so on and so forth, complain. And then we all just say, well, they'll forget about it and so on and so forth. And I had someone this morning say, boy, that's a nice job up there on G44X. He took a breath, he looked at me and said it was worth the wait.
Yeah.
And he said that and I thought, okay, it comes true what we said, that people get over it, they forget it, and then they're happy. But that's what was said to me. It was worth the wait for that nice job on that bridge.
And you think a personal thing is a department thing, and I'm sure you guys have it too, to learn to not to maybe overreact when some of the complaints. I mean,
you want to react, but it'll be okay.
At the beginning, my first couple of years here, man, everything just like hit hard, and then as you get into it, you kind of learn the bigger picture that these things have to be done, and they do take time. And at the end of the day,
and then all of a sudden you'll say, "Hey, it was worth that."
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that G44X wasn't that smooth when they built it.
I
hauled gravel from the power plant, and I went across that bridge, and it was right after they built it. And you go down there now, you can't even tell there's a bridge there.
Well, we have a bid letting coming up here in a couple of weeks, and if seeing a contractor, I got the job, we'd be happy with that. But,
Oh, yeah.
So
It is smooth. You go down that hill.
But I just wanted to mention that.
It seems like
It's
you
getting
changed the
better.
pitch
where
where it feels easier to go down.
it probably was naturally like that, but it had morphed itself through the years. A lot of it, the water comes in and ran right in front of the thing and freeze and thaw. And once pavements get moving, they never settle back in the way they're supposed to. So
It feels good.
okay. All right, guys.
All right, thank you.
Just a second.
Brian, I missed the meeting. I asked you all about what we were gonna have to eat, all kinds of
We
things.
waited for you too.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Randy's sure to come. He's hungry.
He even had his truck honking for it.
Somebody's truck alarm is going
For
off
2
out the
days.
parking lot is mine.
For 2 days, I talked about that meeting. Knew I was gonna go, this and that. Told my wife, gotta go. Got this meeting at 5 o'clock. I walked in the house quarter till 7 and said something, and she said, "Don't you have a meeting tonight?" I said, "Yeah, I did at 5 o'clock. I'm sorry." That's all I can say.
All there's times where I sit down and kick my feet up, I realize. Well,
She said, "Well, why didn't you tell me it was 5 o'clock? I'd have kept on you." She said, "I wouldn't have." And I said, "Well, whatever, whatever."
It doesn't.
And I'm not saying about
So did we have, did you have a quorum for the EMA meeting? You know, sometimes I know we struggle with that.
Yeah, we had a good turnout for the main meeting and the OAPC.
Yeah, okay.
That's the thing, I'm like, okay, what if, my mind is if I can.
When's the next EMA?
If we can.
When's the next EMA meeting?
It'll be in December, just a
And we'll do,
budget review.
we'll do budget review on it.
I'm sorry I don't have a copy, I'll get you one real quick.
No.
We're gonna talk about updates today, nothing earth shattering.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But anyway, I just.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, Sahara. Is Sarah was? No, it's Sarah. Okay.
I figured I did.
I'm the Lord, I'm just making myself available.
You ready to get started?
I'm ready.
Schedule.
So here we go.
Did it done, huh? Good.
Thank you.
I can tell you then, report for 3 different offices, but EMA, I tell you, we have our multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan. And that's when we jumped through hoops on when I first started. And it's a 5-year plan, so 2025, it's up for renewal. And to do a good job of that, you need to get started on it sooner than later. And so I've contacted this Southeast Iowa Regional Planning to be the architect of the plan. They're our cog, and they are willing and excited to get in on engage with that. We have to have a focused community effort, meaning that you should go to these for a better update. You need to go to each community, talk about local concerns and hazards, and hear it from the community, and then come up with a mitigation strategy for whatever is a hot topic in the neighborhood. And so I have sent that kind of recommendation to the Southeast Regional Planning, and we'll start our plan. But it's not really due till February 2026. We're just going to do it right. We're going to do a real good job of this. Because then when these things happen, people like FEMA go back to your plan and say, did you plan for this or did you make note of this? So we're going to do a better job. And that kind of rolls in with another part of what I've talked about later. But then we had our LAPC meeting on October 19th. About 25 people attend that recovery after disaster workshop. It's an LAPC meeting where we talk about local hazardous materials that transport through the county and those kind of things. Anybody that reports a tier 2 chemical by quantity should attend that meeting, and then responders and everybody else. We turned it into a recovery after disaster workshops. So we kind of made best use of our time. We're asking community leaders to come to meetings. I just combined 3 into one meeting. So we had a good turnout with that. And you'll note there in my printing that it's Sarah Hager, not Sahara. It's Sarah Hager. I think she did a great job. She presented a scenario that was a county-wide derecho, just like that. And it just hit the whole county, trees down, every county's affected, communications down, electricity's down, and then react, go. And so communication is always a problem. We fleshed out some things. We had the insurance people there, we had long-term care facility there, first responders, mayors, city, public works, that kind of people were represented. And right away, we know that insurance people need to start making claims, but they can't without communication. So that was a big thing for us. My role would be to make sure the infrastructure is evaluated and brought back online as fast as possible. Sewer and water, electric, might be helpful in that kind of regard. But also another thing was that if homes are damaged, a lot of homes are damaged, that people would seek shelter that wouldn't be in Louisa County And we don't want them to change addresses, so we need to figure out a way to bring housing right back into the county. And one of my thoughts was, just like in any one of those hurricane states, where they set up for temporary housing, like down in Katrina, they set up those FEMA trailers. And it became long-term recovery efforts for some people. So that's an option too, to give people an address in the county so they can stay near their affected homes, and things to think about, including our plan. There was a lot more to it, a lot more things to think about, but I think everybody left with kind of an eye opener to that effect. And then I noted in here that we need to educate each community regarding the realities and the capabilities immediately following a disaster, because our first responders will be affected too. Their homes, their families, they have their own stuff to tend to. Our rescue or our response is going to come from mutual aid, it's going to come from out of town, out of county. So we just have to learn how to deal with that in the first few hours, the first few days after a disaster. And so we need to educate the community, and that will happen during these meetings with Southeast Iowa Regional Planning. When we go do the hazard mitigation plan, again, making best use of our time, we'll talk about the hazard mitigation plan / educate people on what could really go wrong and what they need to do. Kind of have to be prepared to take care of yourself for a little bit in a widespread disaster. That might sound insensitive, but that's a reality. We want them to know that fire station might be blown away. Don't expect the fire truck to come right away. Help your neighbor in those things. And also then in emergency management, the Homeland Security school assessments are underway. And that just changes, like everything else in those big projects. The timeline to complete that is escalating quickly. So I had some schools scheduled out, not me, their schedules were out till April of next year, but they're tightening that up. They want it done in the next like 60 days. So Columbus schools have all completed theirs, school districts, so Wapello, L&M, Morning Sun, to be done. I have to recheck the calendar, but they have stepped up their assessment process.
On that assessment, what are they all, what are the points they're looking for?
It's a comprehensive. It's everything from lighting outside, cameras. A lot of it is about access during times of school and after school, the security, building security inside and outside, policies about visitors and things like that. It's comprehensive, you might suggest, think about. So, and I don't want to speak for the school, but I think our evaluator said that we're kind of mid-range. There's schools worse than us, and there's some that are a little bit better. People have more money, but he said, we've done well with what we have there. It's a big school there at Junction School.
Yeah, spread out.
Yeah. So they made some recommendations. I'll let the school speak to whatever they might talk about. That's just part of the governor's $100 million commitment they talked about. Every school will get one of those radios that's going to be direct to the sheriff's office. That hit that button, have an open mic for whatever that time is. Those have already been, I think, ordered by the school. Then in the world of 911, we had our service board meeting. It was held on Tuesday, October 18th. And in the process of keeping or updating the radio communication to the dispatch, first step would be to replace the computers that are under the 2 dispatch centers, and they host the software for the radio interface for our dispatching and for our paging and all those things. And so that's a quick fix to reduce the risk. So with those computers, they're going to cost about $30,000 for the computer, the software upgrade, and the installation. Just under $30,000. But the alternative is a lot more money. Then in safety, we've been talking about the safety manual in our meeting we had on October 5th. We looked at the safety manual again and realized there's components in there. They're kind of conflicting with our county employee manual. So knowing that, we contacted Paul, our HR guy. He agrees there's some conflicting verbiage in there. We need to take some of that out to improve that. And I didn't realize then too that the safety committee really never had an input on that safety manual review. I think it's just been done by the safety manager and presented to you guys and signed off on. So we're going to try to make that a better document as well. So the last thing, safety would be the complex generator. I submitted for the project and they kind of kicked it back and told me about all the guidelines. I think I think we qualify for it. They gave me a whole bunch of homework to do and I've contacted REC for a usage report out there, which will help with this worksheet I have to finish up. I've asked Hack Electric to come too, and they want a master electrician to sign off to say that whatever size generator we're asking for will meet the need. And so I'm gonna have him sign off on that or take a look at it, evaluate it, and sign the worksheet. Then I can kick it back to the state and ask for a project for that. And they're just adamant that generators are just hard to get and not funded. Comma, unless, so it's always that thing that I work with. Learning to find after the comma, not give up. That's all I got.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, just want to thank you for all the concrete out front. Appreciate that very much.
Well, looks like you're busy. Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Bradley. Hey, how you doing, Brady?
Hello, Sandy.
Back to 110%?
Yeah, for today anyway, I mean, it kind
Good deal.
of goes back and forth.
Happy to hear that.
Yeah.
What you been doing?
So, yeah,
What you been doing?
a little bit of this and a lot of that.
Get your house done yet? You never do your house. I never get my house. I work on everybody else's house, but never do my own.
I'm sure you can have that. No, that's a never ending project. It will always be there for me.
I got the door I've been trying to put in for the last 6 months. Probably put 400 doors in since I took mine out.
Yeah. I mean, in the long term of things, I gotta do concrete for, a driveway and we've got the flooring done up on the main floor, but there's 2 bedrooms that I want to put the flooring in and it never ends. So workload remains steady. I'm currently working a minimum of 24 claims. Gee whiz, for monthly compensation and pension, Louisa County veterans and their surviving spouses are receiving over $220,000 per month. Our budget's in good shape at 25%. 28 agreement has been completed and on file. And Sandy, I will get a copy to you if I haven't already sent that to you.
I don't think I've
Okay.
seen it. But I haven't really,
Yeah,
I've been through my email and see if, anything jumps out at me and then I'm gonna have to go back through it.
yeah, no worries. I've had 157 contacts since our last briefing. I've done 5 home visits, 22 office visits, 2 nursing home visits. Speaking of nursing homes, we currently have 27. Junction has 11, Wapello 11, and Morningside has 5. Operation Greenlight, which came to my attention a couple of weeks ago, is something that's been front-runner by the NACDSO, the National Association of County Veteran Service Officers. They provided a resolution.
Yeah, we've got it.
You guys got a copy of it?
I've looked.
We read it.
I read it.
Everybody's good?
Yeah, Chris read it, I read it. Went back to you.
Awesome. So the effort there is to recognize those veterans that are making that transition from military back to civilian life. And it's just a passive way to let them know that, when you see that green light, we've got your back, we're here for you. I'm gonna get some, I think the easiest way to do it would be to get some green membrane you can just wrap around a lighting fixture out front. I don't know what we can do for the courthouse, if anything. I don't know if we have one of those rotating lights. We can just put static on a green light. You know what I'm talking about, those outside lights? But I'll send an email out to everybody and whatever green membrane that I don't use, I'll give to them. So if they can use it, then by all means, they can use it.
And right now, you probably get the green bulbs pretty readily available with Halloween and stuff. Also,
Yep.
too, so
Yep.
might stock up on them.
Muscatine County CDSO is now accredited and working his claims, thank goodness. It does. I attended the Louisa County Vietnam Veterans and the American Legion, their October meetings. It's always a hoot to be with those guys, especially the Vietnam veterans. Sometimes I think I wish I should probably show up about a half hour earlier. But it's all good. They're awesome people. We did our veteran appreciation meal on Sunday. We had a really good turnout. I've got over 60 signatures that those folks attended, combined with our support personnel and volunteers, probably close to 70. And it was a bash. It was a lot of fun. Some of the feedback that I got was, hey, we really like having that meal in Louisa County instead of going up to Muscatine. So that is something that we'll discuss. I'll discuss with my commission, and maybe this will be something that we do in Columbus Junction at the fairgrounds next year. We'll kind of also make the site so everybody gets a fair shot at the festivities. Our planning continues for 2023 outreach. Second quarter assistants have one for food, but I can sense the crescendo approaching. We're going to be inundated with claims or requests for assistance for utilities, food, and rent. And Sandy, when Andy signs the first quarter report, I'll give you that copy. He was away on vacation, but he did attend the meeting via phone conference.
Are you budgeted enough to handle the anticipated volumes that you're going to have this year as far as assistance?
Right now, I think we're good.
Okay.
Yep. Update on the DAV van is about 65,000 good working order. Starting November 17, Muscatine County will be out of the DAV van ride business. They turned that back over to the VTS, which is Veterans Transport Services. And we will continue to provide rides to Louisa County veterans to get them to and from their appointments. Unless VTS says otherwise, that's my intent, and that's what we're going to do. Training and travel, we just attended the fall school. I did 10 through 14 October. Our commissioners had one day of training on the 10th. And that was an eye opener for them because they get to see what we actually do on a daily basis. I don't necessarily go into the weeds with my commission saying, well, we got to do VA form 21-22 or 0996 or 995. It just, it can be confusing, but they got an actual taste of what a claim package looks like. And I think they have a different or a new appreciation for what we do. Our next scheduled commission meeting is November 17th. As always, you guys are more than welcome to come by.
Can I get a motion on number 11, please?
I would like to have that read. I think that needs to be, it's lengthy. But I think that when we're passing a resolution like that for this type of thing, I'd like to see it read all the way down through, why we're doing it, what, so on and so forth, rather than just pass it.
The residents of Louisa County have a great respect, admiration, and the utmost gratitude for all men and women who have selflessly served our country in this community in the armed forces, and the contributions and sacrifices of the men and women who served the armed forces have been vital in maintaining freedoms and the way of life enjoyed by our citizens. And Louisa County seeks to honor these individuals who have paid the high price for the freedom by placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all. And veterans continue to serve our community in American Legion, Veterans of Foreign War, religious groups, civil services, and function as county veteran service officers in the 29 states to help former service members across access more than $52 billion in federal health, disability, and compensation benefits each year. And approximately 200,000 service members transition to civilian communities annually, and an estimated 20% increase of service members will transition to civilian life in the near future. And studies indicate that 44 through 72% of service members experience high levels of stress during the transition from military to civilian life. And active military service members transitioning from military services are at a high risk for suicide during the first year after military service. And the National Association of Counties encourages all counties, parishes, and girls to recognize the Operation Green Light for all veterans. And the Louisa County appreciates the sacrifices of our United States military personnel and believes that specific recognition should be granted, therefore, of it. With destination of Green Light Veterans Day, Louisa County hereby declares from October through Veterans Day, November 11th, 2022, a time to salute and honor the service and sacrifice of our men and women in uniform transitioning from active service thereafter. Therefore, be it further that the observance of Operation Greenlight, Louisa County encourages that the citizens and patriotic tradition to recognize the importance of honoring all that who has made immeasurable sacrifices to preserve freedom by displaying a green light in the window of their place of business or residence.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve that resolution 202258 for Operation Green Light for the veterans in Louisa County.
Thank you. I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
And I do have that 20.
You do, awesome, great, thank you.
Well, I'm sorry you had to read that whole thing, but I still think on resolutions like that,
No,
I read it through and thought, God, I hope Brad don't ask me to do that. I'll ask him to do it.
no biggie. I read all the time.
Oh, I do too. I could have done it for you, but
We just gotta we gotta be the main ones to observe it. I mean, we gotta practice what we preach, but. so we
well,
have to come
yeah,
up
I'd
with
like to
some
figure
way
out some way, some green, even, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it the motel.
We got a light outside here, right
Yeah.
outside.
We do,
He can,
but it only comes on motion.
with some type of
And we
wrap
can change
on,
that motion over.
some kind of wrap on it, maybe.
I just get a great bulb.
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, because that wrap, you gotta worry about the LED still.
Yeah, you're right. Chris.
Thank you, guys. Okay, we got,
Mike Newton.
I sent a message to Adam to tell Mike that he could come up whenever, so.
softball thing done?
Me?
Yeah.
I burnt the checkbook the other day. The account's closed.
Good.
Everything's done. Totally 100% done.
Where you saying more about it?
Took a long time.
Good things do. I finished the house last night, finally. Unloaded the insulation truck this morning and it always makes me congested. Can't do it anymore like I used to. Used to lay in it.
How's your dad getting along?
Get worse.
All right.
Can't remember nothing. Never get old. somebody who used to be so sharp all the time and
Yeah.
watch him come to the end of the run. I can't remember taking his, so I put all his pills in his box. I go up for every day now. Make sure he takes his pills because he forgets to take his pills. And he gets mad because he tells me he has to take his pills. Yeah, already get old. I didn't feel old. I still think I can remember everything. Randy wants some.
I can't remember.
I can't remember shit. I didn't do a case of it.
Can't remember, yeah.
How'd that horse ever come out, Randy?
Well, I wonder which time you're talking about.
The one that had a infection in its foot. Well,
Still up there.
is it really? Did it ever come through the top?
That was the front foot. Yes, finally broke out to the front and was fine. Now, that same horse I had up there a couple weeks ago to have his teeth floated. Once a year, I send them horses up, they float their teeth. When they're getting old, you gotta do that. So I haul them all home, turn them out, they we're pretty well done. Everybody's in good shape, feet are fine. One mare comes in holding her back leg and she's got, they call it shivers. It's a neurological thing that makes them, their muscles tighten up. They'll get like that, then they'll put it down. The muscles tighten up. Now, doesn't do it all the time, but you'll see her standing out there pulling that back leg up. And Peg gives her a pill a day to help it. And you can still use those kind of horses and all kinds of stuff. So, but anyhow, we knew Crystal had shivers. Well, she was walking around the field pulling this back leg up. And Peg said, well, that's getting worse. So she calls the vet and says, what should we do? And they said, well, increase the pill that you give her. You give her half a pill a day, give her a pill a day, and that'll maybe do this and that. She kept doing that. It just kept getting worse, kept getting worse. She finally said, that horse standing around with leg up like this all the time. So vet says, bring her up. We'll see if we can do some blood work. We'll do this and that and see what we can do to get that relief. And I thought shivers eventually kill her. You know, a horse gets bad enough, you're gonna put it down. You're not gonna let it stand there.
See, I didn't know that was the start of it. We had a horse that had shivers, but I didn't know.
Yeah, the muscles will tighten up on it.
Didn't know.
It'll get to the point that it's unbearable and you gotta put the horse down. So I know that's what's gonna kill this mare eventually. But you know, they said, well, she might last for 10 more years if you can give her a pill a day, kind of. So we send her up there, they're gonna do this. He starts doing stuff to her. This is not only my fault, his fault, everybody's fault. He couldn't get her to come around. Well, they picked up the back foot, started looking at it, had a screw in it that far, all the way to the coffin bone.
Oh, so she was feeling that. Oh, that.
Why in the hell I never checked that?
Did it have infection?
Yes, infection clear up into the bone. And it's the screw out of, I've got plexiglass windows in that horse trailer in the winter. Those plexiglass windows are screwed in with them screws about this big, screwed in with a big washer on them.
And it had a washer on it?
One of them fell off, hauling her just the other day. For some reason, it got flipped up. She got into it. We unloaded her home, thought everything was over, and then all of a sudden it starts. So here we go. Another probably $1,000 vet bill. She's been up there for a week and a half, and he was really concerned that we were gonna have a problem with this infection.
It's getting better.
Now, last week, he said, I think we've made it. I think we'll be all right. I'll call you Monday. He called Monday, said, I want to keep her a couple more days. So I still got a horse in the vet clinic.
At least you know what it is.
Well, yeah. I can't believe no one, we were just sure it was, she was acting the same way.
I bet that hurt.
Oh.
But if you could talk.
Clear into the coffin bone.
Yeah.
It would be that deep.
Yeah.
They x-rayed it. Here's a screw in her foot.
How are you? Chilly?
Yeah.
Not gonna last very long. These 70s next week they're showing.
We'll take it. The day in the 70s, the day in the cold.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Oh. Gotta give you the
And your report.
weed commissioner's report. Pretty much, I don't know, unchanged, I guess. I mean,
Finding new weeds.
oh, nothing new.
Must have found a thistle the way your finger looks.
I found, I pinched a piece of it off.
Looks sore. With
Uh,
that wrap, you do it something.
yeah, it just kind of took this skin right off the bottom of my finger, so it just gotta grow back. Nothing I can do for it. The one there's one weed it's not a noxious weed yet. I talked about it last year, is this Japanese hops. It's a viney stuff, get very, very scratchy, very, I took some pictures on X17 when we were paving that on Long Creek, this acre of it, just got the whole bottom of the creek,
Oh, yeah.
bottom ground just completely covered, about an acre worth of it, just matted over. I don't know.
Got an orange bloom on it in August.
I don't know what they're gonna come up with that, but it's,
They ever gonna call it a noxious weed?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
It's kind of usually on a creek bank or river bank. Might be a little bit of a stabilization type weed. You know?
Well, it kills everything. I mean, it
It totally,
just totally kills everything under. It just doesn't lay sunlight into the grass below it. I've killed some of it on, what road? I Avenue a few years ago on a big steep hillside, and there was nothing under there when it died. It was just, I spray it when I see it around stuff, but it's really gonna. I got some down in Oakville, was climbing on right there, they sold them lots there on the edge of town. Last year, there was a bunch climbing up those trees there on the south end of it. But,
So it's got an orange leaf on it. Is that what you're saying? This
No.
one here?
it's a star shaped, the leaves are like kind of a star shaped
Okay.
leaf on a vine.
Okay.
It's some nasty stuff. It likes slopes for sure, steep banks. It's a vine, so it likes to climb, I guess. But it seems to really be prevalent in river, in water, in tributaries. And I found it along the Iowa River, fishing and hunting. It's a bad one. There's gonna be bad, I think, but that's not one that they really talk about. It's stuff I go to. But like Teasel, there's places where gotten it under pretty good control, and then there's
Yeah.
places where it's popping up again in
Yeah.
different places. That seed must just be out of lay dormant for years, and then thistles, seems like, cow pastures are the worst culprits. And everybody I talk to acts like, oh, yeah.
You have to send any letters out this year?
I didn't really have to send any letters. Everybody just verbally took care of it, so.
But you did have to call some people to
I
take
did
care
have
of things?
to, I
Okay.
knocked on some doors.
Yep, that's just part of the job.
The DOT about their problem.
How do
They
you get along
did
there?
come through with a brush deal and mowed a bunch this
Did they?
summer,
Okay.
yeah. They've changed. So when I talked to I don't even remember what the guy's name was, you don't go through the state. You can't go, you gotta go right to the maintenance garage.
Nick Wilkerson.
Nick Nick was kind of the interim guy,
He got it though. didn't
he
He's the-
did, and he
He's the
sent,
main man up there out of
he sent
this area.
people out, and they started spraying and mowing a bunch of stuff.
Good. Yeah.
Now, I didn't see him spray a lot of weeds. They were more spraying their shoulders and
Yep,
different stuff like that, but
Well, we'll get
guardrails.
some cooperation out of them. It means
But,
something because there was different years that you couldn't get anything out of the state of Iowa because the big thing was, we don't have the money to do this. We don't have the money to do this. That was what I was always told when I was the weed commissioner and tried to get on the state over issues that they had.
Well, I called the state weed commissioner and he's like, I don't know if there's a problem on those roads or not. And I'm like, how can you be the state weed commissioner, not know any of this
yeah.
stuff, you know?
Yeah, and you should listen to you. If you say there is and you live in the county, I would think they'd take your word for it.
So he says, here's what you have to do. You have to talk to the maintenance garage and then they put in a request. If they choose to, that's the thing. If no one makes them.
Yeah. Well,
So
I would hope that Nick will be easy. We all know him.
yeah.
Would hope that he would be easier to work with on some of these issues. And, you know, I don't expect them to cure the problem, but there are different places. I remember like over there on 92 next to Sawasix, and then through that area, there was a lot of diesel in that area that we could never get any action out of the DOT.
Yeah, so that's one person that I had talked to this.
And they mowed that.
His thistles, and he mowed it, and then he must have broke down, and then he
I see
finally
they
got
got
back.
got a
But
bunch of sheep in there now, so
Does he?
hopefully that'll take care of that.
so
Now, years ago, when 61 was under construction up by Grandview, people were complaining, you know, they bought right away and maybe stripped it, and it just come up solid musk thistles.
yeah,
And finally, I called out to Fairfield and got a hold of Armstrong. It took about 3 days. And stuff happened within
Really?
a few days.
That's a name for the past.
Yeah, that is
amazing.
right.
there is a patch of teasel right there at the edge of Grandview that I've sprayed the last couple of years for the. It's in the DOT's right away, but I just sprayed it because I'm there. So
They're going through, yeah.
But,
That day I seen you spraying down below on the K road. I had a notion to grab you and start showing you other places. Some diesel right at Elric confusing.
Did you ever take care of them on Kilowatts Road?
So yeah, so I
How's that?
got a hold of NRCS, and they've done something. They mowed it and sprayed it. It looks like.
That field on the south.
Yeah. Now that one got sprayed back when Dave was the weed commissioner once, and it whacked it pretty good. But last year it started coming back. After about 5-6 years, it started. So I contacted the NRCS guy, and he put his wheels into motion and made them do something. It looks like they mowed it and sprayed it. The bad thing is, you know, that all that CRP mix got all those wildflowers in it now, and you're gonna kill all that stuff.
Going to, a lot of that teasel was planted. What started the whole teasel thing was it was an ornamental plant in cemeteries.
And I don't,
And you know,
not pretty at all to me.
The Rice Cemetery
Yeah.
is right directly north of
Yeah,
Eddie Wright's.
that's where
And I think that's where
it all
throughout
started.
the years, it all
Yeah.
started at the Rice Cemetery from the ornamental weeds that were
Yeah.
planted there, or ornamental flowers, which is teasel. And it blew, and north wind blew it south, because that was a terrible spot.
Well, the whole
down there.
X37 right away, when I first
Yeah.
started at the county was horrible, and
Yeah.
that one's got tamed down
I used
pretty good, but
to spray that RV and I'd spray all up and down there.
that,
A lot of years.
the thistles in some of the new CRP seeding is, and the NRCS, it's a good flowering plant. They're not worried about some of the thistle species in but once the grass gets taken over thick enough, it does kind of choke some of them out, but it takes a few years to get them choked out, but, so.
Trying to think of the water hemp on steroids grass. That's beginning to be a problem in CRP.
Yeah.
Palmer Emerald,
Palmer England.
which down on the bottom, a lot of their filter strips got sprayed because that stuff is being a problem.
Glad to see out there by Smith's, they redid those waterways that were kind of full of teal. Now at least they could took all the trees out, so now they can at least take a sprayer across it or something now. I don't know what Smith, it's his brother, what's his name?
Roger,
Huh?
or Sam,
Across from Sam's house. I don't think he
Roger.
actually owns that land.
Roger owns that across the road.
So,
Yeah, they did take those waterways out, didn't they?
yeah, that's gonna help.
For those trees.
Farming. If you take CRP out and you farm it for a few years, you can whack the teasel right out of it, you know, it doesn't like spray, you know. I had some private landowners contact me, what are you spraying on that stuff, you know? I just can't seem to, I said, you're killing it, but you're spraying it, they're spraying it after it turns basically to a woody stalk. And once it gets to that point, you might kill it, but you can't tell that you kill it, you know, and at that point, once it goes to a woody stalk and a head, that plant's dead, never comes back anyway. It's the seed
Yeah,
that comes from that, you know, the first year it comes
and the
out.
first year it's just
The
that green.
rosette, kind of
The
looks like
rosette.
leaf
Second
lettuce
year-
almost. And then the next year it shoots up. It might take 3 years even, they said sometimes.
Yeah, the stuff that's standing, all it's gonna do is, I mean, what do? You mow it, but then that spreads it.
Spreads it more.
If you wanna get it when it's a green rosette.
I'll tell you, last fall, we did a bunch of spraying last fall where you were able to spray the rosettes were still green in the ditch, but the grass was brown.
Yep.
And you could really see it down there. We did a bunch of it down on the K Road and stuff. But there's certain spots, man, you just spray and come back the next year and
I know.
it's there again.
I know.
So, other than, there's a few other ones that, the main, it's a timing thing, getting to them at the right time, and, you know, that's the whole deal. And I go to through these counties that have extensive roadside programs, and they'll have 4 or 5 people out in their counties. They're not any better than ours. I mean, as far as roadside weeds go. But, you know, where they all got those fancy spray trucks and everything else, you know, and that's probably the worst part of the spraying is that gun. Takes a few weeks to get built up.
Carpal's tunnel.
Yeah. So, anyway, we did go through a lot of chemical this year in the ditches.
Chemical, you getting cheaper, doing it.
No, this is probably most that I've used since I've done it, probably. That Milestone, it works great.
It's high price.
It's expensive. That's just the weed thing. If you want to look through it, but around $100 a quart, $95 a quart. But it only takes 7 ounces per acre. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of it, so doesn't take a lot of it.
Do that or graze on, and it's just as expensive,
Well,
similar product.
I bought 2.5 gallons for home. It was $165 or something like that. But you got to use a lot more of it. You know, it's a couple ounces per gallon. So
That spray did really go up this year.
Well, everything went up 20-30%. Herbicides.
this
Ground triple.
guess this goes with it.
Do we have to sign
Chairman
something?
is have to sign that.
Yeah,
That's why I have an action.
Big Chief's got to sign it.
I'll make a motion that we sign,
Or approve, approval of the weed report.
make a motion that we sign the approval of the weed report.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
And then
Okay,
This is if you wish to keep me as the weed commissioner for next year.
Well, you've already appointed him. That was at the beginning of the year.
Oh, darn, okay. I guess it goes from March to March, I guess.
so we have to we'll do that in the spring.
Well,
That has to get-
You do yours in January. so-
Yeah, that'll be our
We'll
appointments.
do that, yeah,
for
I just
spring
has
year.
to be mailed in by December 1.
okay. All right,
So I don't know if you're behind or you're ahead. I'm not sure which.
Well, that doesn't, I think it says it takes effect March. I believe somewhere, I'm not sure. Maybe it was in the instructions. That's just the,
Because you appointed him from January 1 till December.
So you're actually.
yeah, that's for 23. So. Well, anyway, I guess
Anything else, Mikey?
that's all I got, I guess.
sure.
You guys got anything else for him?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, that's all for business today.
All right. Oh, Justin's studying for his applicators
Oh, cool.
stuff right now, so
Good.
hopefully by spring we'll have another guy.
There you go.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
Meeting adjourned.